How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here. And today I'm going to be doing my recap for UFC Atlantic City, Blanchfield vs. Fiorat. Just happened yesterday. And this card had a lot of weird fights on the main card, a lot of weird outcomes. And yeah, let's just start with the main event. Of course, in the main event, we had Erin Blanchfield take on Manon. And Manon, I mean, she made easy work of Erin Blanchfield. Very easy work. There were two massive takeaways from me in this fight. One, Erin Blanchfield isn't as good as I thought she was. I'll be honest. I thought her boxing was a little bit better than this. In the Taila Santos fight, it wasn't that bad. And Manon is strong and good in the clinch as ever. I learned that in this fight. Manon, she shrugged off every takedown attempt from Erin, even though there were very little. Erin I think she really needs to work on her striking, if I'm being honest. It isn't that great, and you can just sit here and say that Manon, her striking is pretty crisp for 125 women's, and I think that's true. I think the only people with maybe striking on her similar level, you're probably going to have to see Valentina Shevchenko, maybe. I think what's her name? The other Silva. She's Natalia Silva. Her striking's pretty good. But Manon, she looked very good in this fight. And you can say that Erin just didn't look good, but Manon looked really good in this fight. She shrugged off every takedown. She was the only person in the fight to get a takedown when she slammed Erin. But that also led to Erin having probably her best moment in the fight when she got a guillotine. That was pretty damn tight for a little bit. And I see some people on Twitter saying, "Did Manon tap?" No, she didn't fucking tap. If she did, then Erin would have probably let go of it. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't. Manon just powered through it. Manon was just catching Erin with check right hooks. Or is it check? I don't know. Just check hooks. Every time Erin had to find her way in the pocket to try and get in the clinch because she wasn't shooting for double legs or single legs. She was trying to go for trips in the clinch. I really think what caused Erin a lot of trouble in this fight was her game plan. I think she was just outgunned in this fight. And that was one of the things that I thought Erin would do better, is stick to a better game plan. And it didn't. Her game plan wasn't that great, and she got caught a lot by Manon. I saw some people giving some rounds to Erin Blanchfield near the end, I think 4 and 5. But this was a complete shutout for Manon. 50-45. I mean, holy shit. I can't wait to see her fight for the title. She's pretty exciting. I know some people are like, "This fight fucking sucked." It wasn't that good, I'll be honest, but it was fun to watch Manon just piece Erin up for a little bit. This will set Erin down for a little bit. Second ever career loss, first loss in the UFC. She'll have to find her way back. I don't know who she fights next, but she has a lot of stuff to work on. Also, she's so young. 24 years old, come on. Super young in her career. And Manon, she's looking better than ever in this fight, and she proved she has a good gas tank, which was something that was needed for me to see to make sure I am confident that she does well against an Alexa Grasso or a Valentina Shevchenko. Seeing that she does have a gas tank, that's very good for me to see. Great performance by Manon. Pretty bad performance for Erin Blanchfield, I'll say that. But all around, Manon really kicked her ass. And this is going to be a shell shock for Erin Blanchfield. We move to the co-main event. Joaquin Buckley takes on Vicente Luque. He beat him in the second round. And this is probably one of the more controversial, because this card, by the way, had a lot of controversy on it. I don't think I said that in the intro. Very weird card. Vicente and Joaquin in the first round, they're trading shots. Most of Joaquin's shots are getting blocked. He's getting through sometimes with his right hooks. Most of his left hooks, though, are kind of landing on the shoulders. He's throwing head kicks with combos. Joaquin looked decent in the first round. Vicente looks his slow, natural self, where he's kind of just pacing forward at him, throwing good body kicks, throwing an occasional 1-2. The first round was very close. I'm pretty sure that the judges gave it to Joaquin Buckley just based on how hard he was throwing his shots. But Vicente, of course, got the takedown at the end. Joaquin grabbed the fence pretty egregiously. That's besides the point because he still got the finish. But in the second round, again, they're trading a couple shots here and there. Pretty early into the round, Vicente shoots for a takedown, and it gets stuffed pretty bad. Joaquin, he eats his hip. And this isn't like an Andre Petroski hip eating where he knocked himself out. I'll get to that near the end of the video. But Vicente then pulls guard, and I don't want to say he quit, because quit and Vicente Luque don't go in the same sentence together, because it should never go that way, because Vicente's, one of the biggest warriors on the roster. But I want to say he kind of just gave up a little bit. And that really hurts to see from a guy like Vicente Luque. Joaquin started landing some good ground and pound. I don't even want to say good, because most of the shots were landing on the forearms and biceps of Vicente Luque. Hardly any of them were getting through. One of the ones I really liked from Joaquin was when he went for a straight shot on the ground and it went right through the guard of Vicente. He grabbed his arm and shot it right up the middle. It was pretty good. But in the finishing sequence, all of the shots got blocked besides 2. 2 of them maybe got through. Vicente wasn't even hurt or rocked. I think it was just a really bad fight IQ moment from Vicente Luque, where he was well, I'm not getting hit by anything. There's no way they'll stop the fight. But then, of course, Keith Peterson was like, hey, fight it! Fight back! Fight back! Stop! I don't think anyone could have predicted that, to be honest. It's a very weird fight to predict. But good win for Joaquin Buckley. Very good win. It, of course, will be shadowed with, doubt and, people, Vicente gave up. He looked decent up to the point. I'll give him that. It was a decent enough performance to be he is a little competitive with these guys. Joaquin was a guy who was competitive with Nasruddin Imavov. So I'm not that shocked that he did pretty decent against Vicente Luque. But, yeah, I think Vicente should probably retire after that one. That one's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad look. I think he probably should have retired after the brain hemorrhage, to be honest. That's a really shitty injury to get. And, when you've taken as much damage as Vicente, it's kind of just just retire at this point, Vicente, please. I don't know who's next for Joaquin Buckley, because he wants to fight at UFC St. Louis, which got that shitty Derek Lewis main event now. He says he wants to main event that card. I wouldn't even mind that, to be honest. I don't know who he'd fight. Maybe Jeff Neal. Because I don't think Sean Brady will be available. He's not fighting Ian Gary. Fuck that. So probably Jeff Neal would be the fight they make. Or Kevin Holland rematch. But Joaquin doesn't want that. Great win for Joaquin. Probably retire for Vicente Luque. Probably. We move to the featured fight. Chris Weidman versus Bruno Silva. Probably the most controversial fight on the entire card. I don't even know where to begin. First of all, Chris Weidman looked good. Can I just say that? He actually didn't look bad. He actually looked better in this fight than the Brad Tavares fight. He looked better in this than most of his recent fights. I know he doesn't fight that often because, of course, the leg break. But he actually looked decent against Bruno Silva. And I don't know if that's more attributed to Bruno Silva not being that good. But, Bruno Silva has a good track record of opponents and having tough fights with him, like Sharabutin and Alex Pereira. Well, not close with Alex Pereira. He landed on Alex, but he didn't fucking hurt him, let's be honest. This fight is shrouded in controversy, mostly due to, well, you'll see right here, you see how Chris Weidman's fingers are outstretched when he's eating that punch? Chris Weidman never once in this fight retracted his fingers. And Gary Copeland, listen, I love the midget, but he did a terrible reffing job tonight. And it was adamant through every single fight he reffed. I think he reffed the second fight of the night, which was fucking Andre Petroski and Jacob Malkoun. He did a very good job in that fight, telling fighters to, hey, control your weapons. In this fight, because it's Chris Weidman, I feel like he didn't want to do that, because it was a hometown guy not a hometown guy, but a fucking legend, and Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman pokes him twice in the eye. He pokes Bruno Silva twice. I think both times in the second. I think maybe one was in the first. I don't fully remember. Pokes him bad. Because he has his hand outstretched, and Bruno Silva, when he's coming forward to hit Chris, he bats at his face with his open palm. And he catches him in the eye twice. And he gives him 2 hard warnings, and Chris is like, he poked me in my eye. But there's a big difference between Bruno Silva throwing a punch and accidentally catching Chris Weidman with his thumb with a closed fist than Chris Weidman actually just pawing at the face of Bruno Silva. And then all hell breaks loose in the third. Bruno Silva probably having the best round of the fight. By the way, Chris Weidman was probably up 2-0 going into this third round. And in the finishing sequence of the fight, Chris Weidman, I swear to God, this is how it goes. Bruno Silva advances forward. Chris pokes him in his right eye with his left hand, with his ring finger, I believe. And he pokes him, and then he paws at his face with his right hand and pokes his left eye with, I think, his pinky or his ring finger again, and then comes over the top with a left hook that slightly grazes Bruno Silva. Live reaction, it looks like Chris Weidman drops him with a left hook, and we're all like, oh my God, he just fucking knocked out Bruno Silva, feel good moment. And then you see Bruno Silva complaining, my eye! He's crying, he's like, I got fucking poked in my eye! And shout out to Bruno Silva, because he has strong-ass eyes, because he doesn't even look like that bad. Like I know I was flaming Angelusa, but these were bad eye pokes. Like, real bad. Like, you can see Chris's fucking finger disappear in this dude's eye. And they're like, what's going to happen to the decision, man? Because fucking he poked him in his eye twice. In the cage, they rule it a TKO, but then it goes to decision, where they give the win to Chris Weidman off of decision, which is what the natural cause would be. But then you got to think, do they deduct a point in the decision? Because they score the third round up to that point, which I would assume they would give to not Chris, but Bruno, because I think Bruno was winning the third round. Was there a point deduction there? You could argue 2 points deducted, because he fucking poked him twice. And in this fight, I know Chris is being like, you can't drop like that, but you poked him 3 times in the same eye. It was his right eye every time, because Chris's lead hand is just out fucking stretched, because for some reason they let guys get away with it. If I was a ref, I'm not letting you do that. If he warned him, by the way, Gary Copeland warned Chris Weidman to stop doing that, and he just did nothing about it. So, overall, very bad reffing performance. I can't flame Chris. I don't like the way he's parading about it, being like, well, you can't react that way. You poked him in the same eye 3 times, dude. You should have gotten repercussions. I see people calling for a no contest. Honestly, I probably would have given it a draw. If they take a point away in that third round, right? Like, come on, dude. I don't know. That's weird shit. So, very weird fight. And we're going to get to another eye poke finish right here. We move to Cedric Dumas versus Nursultan Ruziboev. And this is another controversial fight. The main card is just fucking covered in fucking controversy. Holy shit. The whole fight, basically Nursultan is throwing charging attacks. Cedric is mostly throwing feints, trying to feint his way in, even though he has the longer reach, trying to just feint something out of Nursultan, but Nursultan is very quick. He threw a lot of right uppercuts, a lot of right overhands, landing a lot, because every time he would throw the right overhand, then, Cedric would duck, and then after he would duck, he would then open up with a right uppercut, because Cedric kept ducking, and he kept ducking, and he kept ducking. Cedric didn't land a lot. I don't think he really even landed anything. He didn't really throw anything anyways. But just like the fucking Chris Weidman one, Nursultan obviously pokes Cedric in his eye. Trying to pat. I think Cedric finally tried to open up, and then Nursultan patted at his face. And Cedric immediately looks to the ref. Vitor, I forget his last name, And Vitor's just like, you fine, dude. The reffing sucked tonight from everybody. And Vitor was one of the main ones. This guy didn't give a fuck about anything. He was too cool for school, bro. And Cedric Quest looks at him. He's like, dude, he just poked me in my eye. And Nursultan, seeing Cedric Quest look away, he tries to fucking sucker punch him. And Cedric Quest goes in defense mode. And he ducks into a right uppercut. And that's all she wrote. And Nursultan finishes him on the ground with some vicious ground and pound. And at the end of the fight, Cedric Quest is just fucking pouring blood from his nose because he shattered his face with that right uppercut. And Cedric Quest is like, what the everyone's like, what the fuck's going to be this decision? Because he poked him in his eye. And on the replay, you can see he obviously poked him in his eye. And it's like, what's gonna happen now? I don't. And then they eventually score it, a TKO for Nursultan Ruziboev. And it's like, what the fuck? What? It's like, what just happened? So yet again, another eye poke TKO situation. Good performance from Nursultan. I think it would have ended all the same anyways. He was looking pretty good in this fight. Not super impressed, though. I thought he would have actually gotten him out of the way in a good fashion. The uppercut he hit him with was fucking brutal, though. But, yeah, I can't wait to see what's next from both. I hope Cedric Quest is able to bounce back from this. I know a lot of people are dogpiling on him, because he's been arrested 12 times, and he has a lot of shit against him. But people can change, I guess. I know he's fighting recent stuff, but, you know, I try to root for people who are underdogs, and he seems like a real big underdog right now. So hopefully he's able to, you know, fight back against his old ways and just be a better person. You know, just be a better person in general. So good win, I guess, for Nursultan. Very big prospect. Can't wait to see more from him. Yeah, and then we got another controversial. Holy shit. We moved to Bill Algeo versus Kyle Nelson. Yet again, another kind of controversial one. Kyle Nelson knocked standing TKO'd Bill Algeo in this fight. And listen, Kyle Nelson was landing some solid shots on Bill Algeo, but Bill Algeo was landing some good stuff on Kyle Nelson. When they're coming off the cage during one of these gruesome exchanges, Kyle Nelson clips Bill Algeo right on his temple with a humongous right overhand. This shatters Bill Algeo's equilibrium, and he is on shaky legs for the rest of the fight. He's getting tagged up, but he's obviously still in there. Like, he's getting clipped and he's, like, wobbling around, but he's didn't touch the ground once. And, of course, Gary Copeland was the ref, and he stops the fight. I think Kyle Nelson clipped him with a good one, too, and Bill Algeo kind of stumbled away again, but then Gary Copeland steps in, and Bill Algeo is still standing, still with it, and he stops the fight, and that gives Bill Algeo his first ever TKO loss on his career, and it's to the hands of Kyle Nelson. So, I don't know, dude. He's on a fucking run. Kyle Nelson, I guess. He's on a fucking run, brother. He's on a run. Good win for Kyle Nelson. Pretty decent performance, though, from him. He looked pretty good against a guy like Bill Algeo. And Bill Algeo, I don't know, stop taunting, I guess. I don't know, that's what you get. We move to the start of the main card. Chidi and Njokuani versus Rhys McKee. Probably one of the more boring fights on the card, which was actually pretty exciting. Chidi and Njokuani obviously beat Rhys McKee 3-0, 30-27. And Rhys McKee's whole game plan in this fight was to throw 3 good 1-2s in the first round and never go back to it and just go for clinch positions, but not throwing anything in the clinch positions. I swear to God, if you watch the fight, that is his game plan. Or at least that's how I take it, because that's what he did in this fight. Chidi Njokuani clearly does more work in the clinch with body knees. He landed maybe 50 in this fight. Maybe 50. And I may be lowballing 50 if I'm being honest, because he started ramming these knees in Rhys McKee's fucking skeletal frame. And somehow, one of the judges found a way to give the fight to Rhys McKee. Mind you, Rhys McKee in the last 2 rounds was outstruck 20-something strikes to like 4. in significant strikes. And no, Rhys McKee did not take down Chidi Njokuani. He didn't get a single one. Chidi had 100% takedown defense. Great performance from Chidi. Some people are calling it like, oh, neither of them wanted to fight. Chidi was being a smart fighter and conserving his gas tank, which he knows is his biggest problem in his career, so he's not throwing that many strikes. And in the third round, he actually started to pick it up a little bit and throw body kicks. He slammed the leg of Rhys McKee, his left leg more likely. He had a combo at one point where he did an ollie shuffle, right outside leg kick, left inside leg kick, and then a right straight. Beautiful shit. His leg kicks are insane. You can tell he's so much better kickboxing-wise. And he actually conserved his gas tank. Had a dominant performance against Rhys McKee. He's back in the win column. Good shit for Chidi Njokuani. Rhys McKee, have fun being a 3-time Cage Warriors champ, my friend. You fucking suck. We move to Nate Landwehr versus Jamal Emmers. This fight was chaos from start to finish, man. A traditional Nate Landwehr fight. Jamal Emmers did what I thought he was going to be able to do early on. He was clipping Nate the Train Landwehr early and often. Dropped him in like the first 20 seconds, I believe, with a right hand over the top. Dropped him. And Jamal was he was kicking his ass. There's no other word to describe. He was kicking the shit out of Nate Landwehr. He landed a mean elbow that left I swear to God, like 4-inch cut on Nate Landwehr's forehead. It was one of the most disgusting things I've seen in my life. But then Jamal, and I didn't know he took this on short notice. If I would have known that, I would have maybe switched to Nate Landwehr. I forgot that this was a short notice bout for Jamal Emmers, because Jamal, he kind of tired out a little bit in that first round. He threw so much trying to get Nate out of there. He kind of slowed down a little bit and started getting pressed against the fence. And Nate Landwehr lands a bomb of an uppercut. It's like a shovel right uppercut that clips Jamal right on his chin, sets him wobbly. He lands a left hook over the top, and Jamal is flatlined, and he lands a couple more hammer fists to do the job. Nate Landwehr knocked out Jamal Emmers. And this photo of him on the cage is fucking an iconic, dude. Everyone loves to see Nate Landwehr win. He had a incredible post-fight speech, just fucking yapping about anything and everything. You love to see it. Nate the Train in the UFC, baby. Wow! Look at this bicep, Atlantic City. He's fucking wild. So that was one of the better parts of the card, Nate Landwehr winning. I got my pick wrong, but it is what it is. If they rematch, which they won't, because Jamal probably is going to drop quite a bit from this, that was a very good win for Nate Landwehr to have, because Jamal Emmers is one of the more underrated guys on the UFC roster, has a lot of wins over credentialed foes. Great win for Nate Landwehr. Good shit. We move to Virna Jandiroba versus Lupita Lupi Godinez. Very close fight. Very close fight. A lot of weird exchanges to score. I understand scoring it either way, but I believe that Virna Jandiroba getting it probably... it's so hard to score because Virna was landing her jab very often, mostly because she had the reach advantage. Even though Lupita had the striking advantage, Virna was just landing her jab more often. I know I don't have a photo up for it because I'm trying to cope with Lupita losing, because I thought it was very close. I thought you could probably give it to Lupita. But in Lupita's best round, which was the third, Virna Jandiroba came on strong near the end, getting the back of Lupita Godinez and landing some bad ground and pound and made Lupita bleed a lot. It wasn't a good visual. She was trying for rear naked choke attempts, and it goes to the scorecards. They give it to Virna Jandiroba, which is yet another good win for Virna Jandiroba. She's adding a lot of wins to her record. She's probably going to fight for the title soon. I mean, that's a pretty good win. Lupita Godinez is one of the higher prospects at women's bantamweight, I believe. I hope I got that right. If I didn't, then you can call me a casual all you want. Oh, wait, is that... Wait, it's strawweight. It's strawweight. I remember it's strawweight. That's my bad. Okay, it's strawweight. Forgive me, please. Yeah, great win for Virna. And every time she fights, I love Twitter because they just make fun of her. I feel so bad whenever she fights because I feel like I go on Twitter fucking people are like, Raul Rosas Jr.'s fighting. I'm like, holy shit, dude. We moved to Julio Arce versus Herbert Burns. Man, was this just fucking one-way traffic. Herbert Burns just kind of got his ass whooped again. This is just really sad to see at this point. You would expect a guy with the last name Burns to be good, but he just turns out to be very mediocre. Herbert Burns, again, after like 4 minutes, he kind of just like gave up. He also, in the second round, I believe, landed 2 very low knees on Julio. Very blatantly low knees. He ended up getting a point taken away from him, and you can just tell by his face, he just doesn't want to be there anymore. He's like, oh, fucking God, dude. He looks like a fucking teenager angry at their mom. Mom, God, Gilbert, carry me out here again. Carry me out of the octagon. And then in the second round, Julio Arce pins him against the fence and TKOs him and sets him down. And we get to see Herbert lose again. So, good performance for Julio Arce. Make sure to make weight, bro. Come on, just... How do you gain weight after missing weight? What the fuck? How does it even make... You miss on your first attempt and you gain weight? That doesn't even make fucking sense. Good win for Julio Arce. Listen, this is going to sound harsh, but please cut Herbert Burns from the UFC. Please. Please. How does he have a win over Nate Landwehr? How? How does he have a win over Nate? We move to Dennis Buzukja versus Connor Matthews. This one was a little poor taste in my mouth because I made Connor Matthews a confident pick without really seeing how he does against UFC competition. And I'm severely... Listen. I bought a little bit too much into the hype. I'm being honest. He looked good on the Contender Series, man. Dennis Buzukja just looked so much better than he has in recent performances. I don't know if it was because of the matchups or just him not being there on the night. But, man, he looked really good. He was landing a lot on Connor Matthews. Connor Matthews just looked so slow, and I knew that he's slower. But Dennis Buzukja just had so much speed on him. So much speed. Connor Matthews also, refused to go for takedowns, which I thought he would do more of. And he got caught for it. He tried to strike with Dennis Buzukja, which I thought he still could do, because I thought Connor Matthews had some decent pop in his hands, but man, did Dennis Buzukja style on him. He landed a really mean left hook on his temple and set him down and got a finish. And very good win for Dennis Buzukja. Can't wait to see what he does more of. I need to see more of this Dennis Buzukja to be sure that he is a contender. Please, Dennis Buzukja, show up like this every time. He just smoked a really good contender. Do this every time, please. Connor Matthews, work on something, man. Also, thank you for your service. We move to Ibo Aslan versus Anton Turkalj. Insane fight. A lot of people were calling it mid because these guys showed a lack of skill. I thought it was super fun, especially in the second round where they just started throwing shit at each other. This is what I thought this fight was going to be. Just them two throwing it down. I thought Ibo was going to set him down way earlier, but Anton Turkalj actually showed a chin. He was getting hit on his temple so fucking much, and Ibo Aslan hits pretty damn hard from what we understand, and Anton was just eating that shit. We did see a moment where Anton just kind of charged at Ibo, where he was like, "Ugh," and he got clipped for it. But this fight was overall insane. Exchanging of strikes, I would probably say it was either maybe tied or Ibo was up 2-0, because it looked like he was landing the harder of the two shots. And Ibo, even though he did slow down, he still was throwing some fucking heat. He was still throwing heat. Great takedown defense, by the way. He defended every single one. In the third round, they're exchanging, and Ibo lands again on the temple of Anton, and it just sets him down, shatters his equilibrium. And again, Gary Copeland steps in a little early, but this is a stoppage I actually do understand. By the way, I do understand the Bill Algeo stoppage, because he was kind of wobbly on his feet, wobblestone, cobblestone, very, out of it a little bit. But he's still standing up. This one, Anton got set down, and when you look at the replay, Anton isn't in a position to even defend himself. He has his hands on the ground, and he's just kind of looking up at Ibo, and when Gary steps in, Anton's, looking into the crowd. and Gary has to touch him to make him look at him, and he's like, he says something and he throws his mouthpiece. Anton was out of it. Good stoppage. Great win for Ebel Aslan. Another good guy at light heavyweight. Just fucking throw him to someone else now. Let's throw this guy to the wolves. Let's see how far Ebel Aslan can go. I just want to see him, as he said, knock people out. The fight that was supposed to happen, Victoria Dudikova and Melissa Gatto, got canceled last minute because, Victoria Dudikova pulled out because she had medical issues. Said she felt really dizzy backstage. Said she couldn't get food down. She just felt all around pretty shitty. Very bad to see. I hope they reschedule it because that's a very interesting matchup. So, reschedule it. Hope Victoria feels better. And, of course, she fought with staph infection last time out, so I don't know if that's still, affecting her. I don't know if that would be able to, but she was been able to fight through injury, so this must have been pretty bad. Moving on to the next fight. We move to Jacob Malkoun versus Andre Petroski. Very weird fight. Again, another weird finish occurred. Very close first round. I probably would have scored it to Petroski just because it looked like he actually dropped Jacob Malkoun. He also got a takedown. But Jacob Malkoun was doing very good work on the feet, which kind of shocked me. His jab, like I said in my video, in the picks and breakdown, his really good weapon that he has, his good jab, was landing all night on Andre Petroski. It was landing all fucking night. He wobbled him in the first round a couple times. Andre landed some good power right hands. He actually was the one that initiated most of the clinch exchanges. And very close first round. I probably would have scored it to Andre. Second round comes around. Very early into the round, they're exchanging strikes. Andre shoots for a takedown, and the consensus around MMA Twitter is that he knocked himself out, hitting the hip of Jacob Malkoun. I don't know if that's fully plausible, if I'm being honest. Jacob, some guys like the Weasel are saying that Jacob landed a solid jab on the top of his head and also grazed it with the right hand. But then there's a guy on MMA Twitter that I saw who posted a tweet saying that he was in the VIP section with Andre Petroski's friends and family, and when he met up with him, he said that he had caught a heel to his Adam's apple, which I don't know how that would have really done what it did. I don't know if that had anything. I'm pretty sure he just slammed his head hard as shit on the hip or his jaw on Jacob Malkoun, who I guess has really hard hips like Shakira. Very weird finish. Very good performance, though, for Jacob Malkoun. Very needed as well. Pretty sure that's been 2 losses in a row or so. Good to get back in the win column for Jacob. Vicious body kick, by the way, when he went down. Absolutely brutal. Good finish for Jacob Malkoun, even if it was a little weird. Very needed. Can't wait to see more from Jacob Malkoun. He's one of the most grindy fighters, and I'm glad to see his striking is increasing. Pause, by the way, for that previous statement, but good one for Jacob. We move to the very first fight of the night, Kaylin Loughran versus Angel Pacheco. Very good win for Kaylin Loughran. Very good win. Very good performance all around. Showed his striking skill set, how well he's improved, how well he can perform against a guy who is enabling him to do so. He wasn't able to really land against a Taylor Lapilus. Angel Pacheco was there to get hit, and like I said, Angel made it fun. Even though he was kind of getting tagged, he was landing some good shots on Kaylin, bloodied him up a little bit. And in the third round, there was a bit of a scare for people who picked Kaylin, because Angel actually rocked Kaylin with a humongous left hook, I believe. And against the fence, he threw a flying knee that almost landed. I think it did land a little bit on the chest of Kaylin, but Kaylin immediately took him down, controlled it. Very good win for Kaylin Loughran. Love to see it. The Dawn, baby. Angel Pacheco, again, I don't know what he needs to do. I don't know what he needs to do, to be honest, because I don't know what else he could have done in that performance, because Angel, he kind of just got a little bit shell-shocked in there, I guess. First ever UFC fight. It is what it is. Very fun, though. Very fun open to the card. UFC Thoughts. These have been my recap for UFC Atlantic City, Blanchfield versus Fiorat. Very weird card. Very weird picks in general. I went 5-8. I did very bad. I'm in a bit of a slump right now. I'll try and pick it up next week with, why can't I think of, it's fucking, Brendan Allen versus Chris Curtis. Holy shit, too, may I add. Should be fun, I hope. Next week after that, UFC 300. We only have one more Apex card to get through before we get to the pot of gold that is Apex 3. Not Apex, holy shit, it's lodged in my brain now. UFC 300. I'll try and be better. I've gone negative 3 weeks in a row, man. That's really bad for me. I've never done this before. So, because I've been making picks since 2021. I've been doing this for a while now, like on Instagram and Twitter. I just recently made this YouTube. I've never had this happen before. I don't know what's going on with me. I need to be better. But, yeah, I'll see you guys for the picks and breakdown. Maybe I make a video in between during the week. I don't know. I'm back in school. Yeah, I'll see you guys then. Peace.